In the year 2025, something is shifting. People are dreaming big, making plans, and aiming for goals that feel monumental. They are hungry for success, passionate about growth, and ready to create a life that others will envy. But there's a critical mistake many of us make at the very moment we decide what our next step will be. You see, it's something so subtle, so seemingly harmless, that it flies right under the radar, and we don't even notice the damage it does until it's too late. The mistake is this: telling people about your plans. Think about it. How many times have you shared your grand ambitions with the world, only to find that the excitement quickly fades? Or worse, you end up talking yourself out of them because someone didn't take you seriously, or worse, they dismissed your dream outright? It's a trap we all fall into, whether it's telling your friends, family, or even strangers about what you want to achieve in the future. And here's the thing, it's not because they're bad people or because they don't care about you. It's because they simply don't understand your vision the way you do. And when you share it too early, you risk letting others shape the very future you've been working towards. You risk letting the outside noise drown out the powerful voice inside you that's telling you exactly what you need to do. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I want support. I want validation. I want people to cheer me on, and that's understandable. We all crave that sense of connection and encouragement, especially when we're stepping into something new. But let me tell you something powerful. The energy you spend on explaining your plans to others could be better spent working on them in silence. There's a unique power that comes from keeping your plans close to the chest, from protecting them like the fragile seeds they are before they grow into something unstoppable. Have you ever noticed how people tend to question your dreams when they're too big, too bold, or too different? They may not even mean to discourage you, but their questions, doubts, and unsolicited advice have the same effect. And you know what? You don't need that kind of energy around your dreams. Your plans are yours, and they should be treated as precious, as sacred. There's a reason why some of the most successful people in the world don't share their plans until they're already well underway. There's power in mystery, in keeping your vision protected while you put in the hard work behind the scenes. People will try to throw their own fears and limitations onto you, not because they want to harm you, but because they can't imagine what you see. They are working from their own place of comfort, and anything that challenges that is something they struggle to understand. Here's something else to think about. When you speak your dreams aloud, you often get too much input. You get ideas, opinions, and feedback from everyone around you. And while feedback can be helpful, it can also derail you. The more you talk about your plans, the more they become vulnerable to criticism. You start second-guessing yourself, questioning if your vision is even valid, if you're on the right path, if it's too ambitious. People who haven't lived your experiences or seen what you've seen may try to project their own fears and limitations onto your plans. And that's exactly what it is, projection. It's not their fault. It's just that they haven't been given the gift of seeing the world the way you do. So why let their opinions sway you from your true calling? In fact, the more you talk about your goals, the less likely you are to reach them. Studies show that sharing your goals too early can actually diminish your drive to accomplish them. It's a psychological phenomenon that's backed by research. When you announce your plans, you get a burst of satisfaction from just talking about them, which gives you a false sense of accomplishment. You feel like you've already achieved something just by speaking it out loud, and that takes away some of the urgency to put in the actual work. That rush of excitement fades, and before you know it, your plans remain nothing more than words. Here's the key to everything you want: action. The work, the strategy, the hustle, all of that is where the magic happens. If you want to build something extraordinary in 2025, it's time to stop asking for permission and stop explaining yourself to others. There's no need to tell everyone about your plans. Your actions will speak louder than anything you could ever say. The quiet, determined steps you take every single day will set you apart from the people who are still talking, still planning, and still waiting for someone to believe in them. I know it might feel uncomfortable at first, keeping things to yourself. It might even feel like you're holding back something you're proud of, something that you want to share. But remember this, your success, your breakthrough, your future, it's personal. It's yours to own. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're doing what you're doing. You don't need to seek approval or validation from people who aren't walking the same path. You don't need their permission to go after your dreams. The more you keep your plans to yourself, the more you can work with laser focus, free from outside distractions, free from the opinions and doubts of others. And here's the real truth. People who truly matter, the ones who will support you, won't need to hear every little detail of your plan to understand your ambition. They'll see your work. They'll feel the energy you put into what you're doing, and that will be enough. The best thing you can do for yourself right now is to protect your vision, to nourish it quietly, and to let your results speak for themselves. You don't need the validation of others to create your future. You just need to believe in yourself and show up every single day. So as you look ahead to 2025, ask yourself this: are you ready to protect your dreams? Are you ready to work in silence, to move in the shadows, and to let your results be the loudest statement you make? The world will catch up to you. The right people will notice when it's time. But until then, let your actions do the talking and keep your plans close to your heart. Your success will thank you for it. In the world we live in today, we are constantly seeking connection. It's almost as though we are conditioned to feel validated by the opinions of others. We live in an age where sharing our lives, our dreams, and our goals has become second nature. Social media, conversations with friends, and even casual chats with family all serve as platforms where we announce our hopes for the future. But this oversharing, this constant broadcasting of our plans, can work against us in ways we often don't realize. When you tell people about your goals, you are essentially handing them the power to shape your journey, whether they mean to or not. Think about it. Every time you share your plans with someone, they have the opportunity to either build you up or tear you down. But what's even more dangerous is when they don't directly challenge you, they just don't get it. They may not understand the scope of your dreams or the depth of your vision, and their lack of understanding can lead to doubt, confusion, or even discouragement. The truth is, when you open up too early, you risk inviting unnecessary noise into a process that requires focus, clarity, and quiet determination. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how people tend to question you when you start dreaming big? It's not always malicious, it's simply a reflection of their own limitations. When someone else hears about your dreams and they can't see the vision clearly, they might immediately point out all the reasons why it's not possible. That's too ambitious, they'll say. You should start with something smaller. Maybe that's not the right time. These kinds of responses aren't always bad, but they are limiting. They are grounded in fear and hesitation, the very things you were trying to escape by pursuing your dreams in the first place. And even though they may not be intentionally negative, these comments create a ripple effect. They plant seeds of doubt in your mind, seeds that have the potential to grow and ultimately undermine your confidence. When someone else tells you that your goals are too big or that they don't make sense, it shifts your energy. You go from feeling confident in your vision to second-guessing everything. You start questioning whether you're on the right path or whether your dream is too far-fetched. All of a sudden, what was once an exciting, motivating vision begins to feel like an overwhelming burden. That's the power of outside influence, whether it's from friends, family, or even acquaintances who have no stake in your success. They don't understand the weight of your aspirations or the fire that drives you. They might try to protect you, but in doing so, they unintentionally hold you back. They want to save you from disappointment or failure. But the truth is, failure is a necessary part of success. Without it, growth is impossible. You cannot achieve greatness by playing it safe, by keeping your goals small, or by constantly worrying about what others think. And this is why it's crucial to keep your plans to yourself at first. Not because you're ashamed or afraid, but because you need the space to believe in your vision before anyone else can. You need to guard your dreams until they are strong enough to withstand the challenges and doubts that will inevitably come their way. Once you've put in the work, once you've taken the steps to bring your plans to life, That's when you can share them with the world. That's when you can let others in on what you've been working on. But until then, protect your energy. Protect your vision. Many of us are also guilty of seeking constant validation. It feels good when people agree with our ideas and give us their approval. But here's the thing. Validation, while it may boost our confidence in the short term, is not a sustainable source of motivation. The truth is, people are not always going to see things the way you do, and that's okay. The world is filled with different perspectives, each shaped by personal experiences and unique viewpoints. Just because someone doesn't believe in your dream doesn't mean it's not worth pursuing. You have to trust that your vision is yours for a reason. The power of achieving something extraordinary lies in the quiet belief that you have everything you need within yourself to make it happen. When you look for validation from others, you are allowing their perspective to overshadow your own. And when their feedback doesn't align with what you know to be true, it can derail you. Let's dive deeper into this concept of action and why it's so important to keep your plans to yourself until you're ready to act. When you speak your goals into existence, the act of saying them aloud might give you a momentary sense of accomplishment, but it can also create an illusion that you've already achieved something. The truth is, saying your goals out loud is easy. Taking action is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Every step you take towards your goal is where the real work is done. It's in the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the failures, and the persistence that your dreams begin to take shape. Speaking your goals aloud too early can trick your brain into thinking that the work is already done, and that's dangerous. It causes you to lose momentum, and without momentum, success becomes a distant dream. Think about the people who have achieved monumental success. Do they spend their time talking about their dreams, or do they focus on execution? They don't waste time explaining their plans to everyone they meet. They stay focused on their journey, doing what needs to be done every day, one step at a time. And when the results start showing, when the hard work pays off, that's when they share their story. That's when they tell the world how they got there. But until that point, they remain in the trenches, working quietly and relentlessly. They know that their results will speak louder than any words they could ever say. And this is the approach you need to adopt. If you truly want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to stop talking about it and start doing it. You have to shut out the noise, focus on your work, and let the results be the only validation you need. In the end, what really matters is the journey you take to get to where you want to go. It's not the approval or the opinions of others that will bring you success. It's the work you put in, the sacrifices you make, and the unwavering belief that you are capable of achieving your dreams. The world doesn't need to know what you're working on until you're ready to show them. In fact, the less you share, the more powerful your actions will be. When you keep your plans to yourself, you create a space where you can work without distraction, where you can focus on what truly matters, progress. You give yourself the freedom to fail, to pivot, and to grow without the pressure of outside expectations. You give yourself the gift of time to nurture your dreams, to hone your skills, and to make your vision a reality. So as you embark on this journey remember that the world doesn't need to know every step you take. The only thing that matters is that you are taking steps, consistent, focused, determined steps toward your goal. Keep your plans close to your chest. Don't let anyone else's doubt or fear infiltrate your mindset. Protect your energy, protect your vision, and trust that your actions will speak louder than anything you could ever say. The time to share your plans will come, but only when you've done the work. Until then, let your silence be your strength, and let your determination be the only thing that drives you forward. When you embark on a journey of transformation or pursue a new endeavor, there's an undeniable sense of excitement. The possibilities are endless, and the potential to create something amazing feels real. It's easy to get caught up in the thrill of it all, and before you know it, you're sharing your plans with anyone who will listen. But in that excitement, we forget that this journey we're taking is ours and ours alone. The plans, the dreams, the goals, they are yours to build, and they should be protected from any outside forces that could cause them harm, whether intentional or not. There's an important truth here. The more people you tell about your plans, the more opinions, doubts, and external influences you invite into your process. While some may support you, others may unintentionally steer you away from your true path by introducing their fears, skepticism, or unasked for advice. As much as we desire feedback or encouragement, there's also power in silence. Silence gives you the freedom to explore your vision, to think deeply, and to figure out what it truly means to you before the world gets involved. One of the most dangerous consequences of sharing your plans prematurely is that it opens you up to distractions. Think about it. When you tell someone about your aspirations, they may offer their thoughts, their opinions, their take on what you should do next. And while some of these opinions might seem helpful, they can lead you down paths that aren't aligned with your true vision. Even well-meaning advice can pull you off track. For example, someone might suggest a safer, more conventional route. They may tell you that your dream is unrealistic or that you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And if you're not careful, you could begin to doubt yourself, your abilities, and your aspirations. The power of their words might start to seep into your subconscious, and before long, you're questioning whether your dream is even worth pursuing. But remember, no one else can walk this journey for you. They can't see what you see, feel what you feel, or understand the passion that fuels your ambition. When you give people the chance to shape your path, you risk losing sight of your original vision. The key to staying on track is to trust your instincts and your unique perspective. Your vision is a reflection of who you are and what you're capable of, not of what others think is possible. At the same time, there's a sense of power that comes from owning your dreams. When you keep your plans to yourself, you cultivate a sense of ownership that fuels your determination. There's no one else to answer to, no one else's expectations to meet. You're free to explore your ideas, make mistakes, and grow without the pressure of living up to anyone else's standards. In this space, you can develop your plans with clarity and purpose, unencumbered by outside noise. Your dreams are yours to shape, and the more you protect them, the more solid they will become. The more you work on them in silence, the more you build momentum, the more your confidence grows. Your goals won't need validation from others because they will be so deeply ingrained in who you are that no one can take that away from you. Another aspect of protecting your plans is the ability to pivot without the judgment of others. We all know that plans don't always go as expected. Success is rarely a straight line. Sometimes the road is bumpy, filled with detours, setbacks, and unexpected challenges. When you share your plans too early, you may feel a sense of obligation to stick to them, even if you realize halfway through that they're not working. You might feel like you need to explain yourself, justify your decisions, or defend your choices to others. But when you keep your plans to yourself, you give yourself the freedom to make adjustments along the way. You don't have to worry about what anyone else thinks or whether they'll understand your decision to change direction. You can simply follow your intuition, listen to your own inner voice, and trust that what you're doing is in line with your true goals. It's about giving yourself permission to be flexible, to try new things, and to grow at your own pace. You're not bound by anyone else's timeline or expectations. You're free to forge your path in a way that feels right for you. When you protect your plans, you also protect your energy. Energy is a finite resource, and when you're constantly sharing your ideas with others, you risk draining it. Every conversation about your goals, every explanation, every time you open up about your dreams, it takes energy. Sometimes it's uplifting, but often it can be draining, especially if the people you're talking to don't understand your vision or aren't fully supportive. The more you speak about your plans, the more you put yourself in a position where you need to explain or defend them. You're spending energy trying to convince others that what you're doing matters, that it's important, that it's worth pursuing. This process can be exhausting and leave you feeling emotionally spent. But when you keep your plans to yourself, you reserve that energy for the work that matters, the actual creation, the execution, and the building of your dream. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to get others on board, you can pour your energy into the one thing that truly makes a difference, your actions. People often underestimate how much of an impact their inner circle can have on their journey. It's not just about the advice or feedback they offer, it's about the energy they bring into your space. When you share your goals too early, you expose yourself to the energy of others. If they are doubtful, skeptical, or negative, it can have a profound effect on your own mindset. The energy surrounding you can either fuel your dreams or deflate them. When you protect your plans, you protect your energy from being affected by outside negativity. You create a space where only your thoughts, your dreams, and your vision matter. You can focus on the positives, on what you're building, and on what you're working toward. Your energy becomes a powerful tool in the creation process, and it remains undistracted by anything or anyone that doesn't serve your purpose. In this journey, self-doubt is a constant companion. It shows up in the form of questions: am I good enough? Do I have what it takes? What if I fail? But these doubts are only a reflection of fear, and fear is something that can be conquered. When you keep your plans to yourself, you minimize the chances of letting those doubts fester. The more you talk about your dreams, the more opportunity there is for self-doubt to creep in. You start to wonder if you're being realistic or if others are right when they tell you that it's too much too soon. But when you keep your plans private, you protect your confidence. You give yourself the space to build belief in your vision before you expose it to anyone else's criticisms or fears. You can nurture your confidence without worrying about whether someone else believes in you. And over time, as you see your own progress, that self-belief will become unshakable. The more you trust yourself, the less you need anyone else's validation. Your plans, your goals, and your dreams are like seeds that need to be nurtured in the quiet of the soil. They need time to grow and develop roots before they can reach for the light. If you share them too early, you risk exposing them to the elements before they're ready. It's not that the world is inherently bad, but sometimes the world isn't ready to see what you see. Not everyone will understand your vision, and that's okay. The most important thing is that you understand it. You are the one who has the power to make it come to life, and you are the one who needs to believe in it with everything you have. The more you protect your plans, the stronger they will grow. And when they finally burst forth into the world, everyone will see the strength and beauty of what you've created. Until then, keep your dreams close, keep your plans guarded, and let your actions be the proof of what you can achieve. When you commit yourself to an endeavor, you enter into a sacred relationship with your goal. This journey is personal, intimate, and filled with moments that no one else can truly understand. It's easy to be tempted to share your progress, to vocalize your ambitions, and to seek external approval. But the truth is, this journey belongs to you, and it is vital that you honor it as such. The act of sharing too early or too often with others can dilute the power of your vision. Once you verbalize your dream, once you make it a matter of public conversation, it can quickly shift from being your inner fire to something that's more open to influence. Your path becomes less about you and more about what others think of you. In doing so, you risk distorting the essence of what you set out to accomplish. You lose the purity of your pursuit because you've allowed the external world to seep into something that was meant to be entirely yours. By keeping your plans private, you protect the sanctity of that journey. You allow yourself to be the sole architect, to build and shape your dream without anyone else's hands touching it. When you speak your plans out loud too soon, it's easy to find yourself overly concerned with the validation of others. You may begin to feel pressured to meet expectations that were never yours to begin with. Others may express excitement, which in the beginning feels good, but it can soon turn into an expectation. You might feel as if you owe them something, a promise to keep them updated, to live up to the idea of success they now hold in their mind. This subtle shift in dynamics can place unnecessary stress on you and your work. What began as a passion-driven personal pursuit starts to feel more like an obligation, something you must prove to others rather than something you must nurture for yourself. This dynamic can also place a limit on how much you're willing to risk. People who are invested in your success, even though their intentions are well-meaning, may try to protect you from failure. They may tell you that the journey you've embarked on is too risky, too uncertain, or too far outside the box. In doing so, they inadvertently create doubt and fear. Instead of thinking about the possibilities and the lessons you can learn from setbacks, their focus becomes about playing it safe. But success doesn't come from avoiding risk. It comes from embracing it. There is no growth without discomfort, and there is no breakthrough without facing the unknown. Yet when you share your plans with others, you open yourself up to opinions that push you to consider every possible failure, every potential disaster. The more people you involve, the more voices you have echoing their fears and concerns in your head. The people around you will not always be able to see your vision clearly. The reason for this is simple. They are not walking in your shoes. They are not feeling the excitement that you feel. They haven't experienced the spark of inspiration that has led you to this point. They may not fully understand why you are so determined to take this particular route. This is why sharing your plans too soon can sometimes lead to miscommunication or misunderstandings. Their reactions may be based on their own experiences, their own fears, and their own limited perspectives. What they see as impractical might be the very thing that sets you apart from everyone else. What they perceive as too risky might be exactly what you need to do in order to reach the level of success that you desire. But until you've made significant progress, until your plans have manifested into something concrete, it's difficult for them to see the full picture. They can only perceive what is immediately in front of them, not the long-term vision that you've been carrying in your heart. And that's the beauty of working in silence. You have the freedom to move at your own pace. You don't need to explain every decision, every twist or turn, or every setback to anyone. You don't need to justify why you're doing something. You can just do it. When you remove the need for validation, you remove the barriers that hold you back. You stop worrying about whether or not others approve of your methods or your timeline. Instead, you focus solely on what you can control, your effort, your growth, and your ability to persevere. When you keep your plans close, you also allow room for experimentation. Many of the most successful people in the world have gone through countless iterations of their ideas before they landed on something that worked. It's only through trial and error, through learning from failures, that they found their breakthrough. And often, it wasn't until they had completed their work that the world understood and appreciated what they had accomplished. If they had shared their plans too early, if they had involved others before they were ready to present something tangible, they may have abandoned their ideas altogether. The pressure to conform to others' expectations might have led them to stop before they even reached the finish line. But by keeping their plans private, they were able to give themselves the time and the space to fail, to pivot, and to eventually succeed without the fear of others' opinions hanging over them. As you move forward, you must remember that success isn't about how quickly you can announce your dreams to the world or how loudly you can shout your goals. It's about how quietly and consistently you can work towards them. True success comes from steady progress, not from external approval. The moment you realize that your journey is about you and no one else is the moment you free yourself from the unnecessary weight of validation. Your worth is not dependent on how others perceive your plans. Your ability to achieve is rooted in your commitment to yourself, your vision, and your dedication to showing up every single day. Regardless of whether anyone else is watching, we live in a world that often encourages us to overshare, to constantly update others on our progress. There is an unspoken pressure to be seen, to be heard, to be noticed, but this constant need for attention can distract you from what truly matters. The work you are doing in the quiet, in the background, in the moments when no one is watching. The most powerful movements, the most transformative achievements often start in obscurity. They are born in silence and nurtured by the person who is committed to doing the work, day in and day out, regardless of whether anyone else believes in it. In the early stages, your focus should be on laying a solid foundation, not on impressing others or winning their approval. You should be thinking about the small steps, the incremental progress, the little wins that will add up over time. These are the things that will eventually lead you to success, not the validation or praise from others. Moreover, it is crucial to recognize that people often want to protect you, sometimes too much. They see your dreams and want to shield you from disappointment. They see the risks and the challenges ahead and try to warn you. But the truth is, risk is a necessary part of success. Without taking risks, there can be no growth. Without stepping into the unknown, there is no opportunity to create something new and different. The world is full of people who played it safe, who never stepped out of their comfort zones, who never took the risks that could have led to something extraordinary. But those who have changed the world, who have created lasting impact, are the ones who chose to follow their own instincts, to pursue their vision, and to do it on their own terms. They didn't wait for permission or for validation. They simply moved forward despite the doubts, despite the risks, and despite the uncertainty. When you keep your plans to yourself, you also protect your progress from being interrupted by outside distractions. It's all too easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing, in comparing your journey to theirs. Social media has only amplified this tendency, making it easy to look at others' lives and feel as though you're falling behind. But this comparison is the thief of joy. Your journey is unique to you. Your path is yours to carve, and it should not be measured by someone else's standards or timelines. The more you share your plans with others, the more likely it is that you'll start comparing your progress to theirs, feeling inadequate, or doubting whether you're doing enough. But when you keep your plans close, you remove the temptation to compare. You focus solely on your own growth, your own steps, and your own vision. When you stop talking about your plans too much and focus on doing the work, you take the power back into your own hands. You stop handing it over to others, letting them dictate how fast you move or whether you're on the right track. You become the master of your own fate, driving your own success with every decision you make and every action you take. You begin to realize that the true power lies in the quiet determination to move forward, even when no one else is watching. You will achieve things not because of the approval of others, but because you refuse to let anything stop you. In the end, the journey to success is deeply personal, and it's one that you must navigate on your own terms. By keeping your plans to yourself, you allow yourself the space and freedom to cultivate your vision without the interference of outside opinions, doubts, or expectations. Protecting your dreams ensures that you remain focused, resilient, and driven, even in the face of uncertainty. It's not about isolating yourself from others, but rather creating a strong, protective boundary around your aspirations that enables you to grow and evolve without unnecessary distractions. When you move in silence, your progress becomes the true proof of your dedication, and your actions speak louder than any words could ever. Remember, success isn't about seeking validation or approval from others. It's about staying true to your path, learning from every setback, and trusting that your vision is worth the hard work. So keep your dreams close, protect them fiercely, and let your actions do the talking. You'll find that, in the end, it's not the world that defines your success, but the unwavering commitment you've shown to your own journey.